If you watched the last video, you know I ranked 5 skincare brands and the $180 bottle finished dead last while a $17 tub took the top spot. What I didn't tell you is how I decided that, and honestly, the how is worth more to you than the ranking was. A ranking helps you with 5 products. The 4 questions I used will help you with every product you pick up for the rest of your life. So today I'm handing you the tests, 4 of them in the order I run them, and by the end of this, you'll be able to walk down that aisle and disqualify about 80% of what's on the shelf before you've even turned the box over. Stay to the 4th one, because it's the test almost nobody applies, and it's the reason a genuinely good formula can be dead on arrival before it ever touches your face. Let's start with what actually changes, because every one of these tests is built on it. After 40, 3 things go missing at the same time. Collagen falls sharply, and the figure that anchors the research is around 30% within 5 years of menopause, followed by roughly 2% a year after that. The ceramides in your outer layer drop, and the ones that survive get shorter than they used to be, and total lipid content in that outer layer falls by more than 30%, with cholesterol production dropping hardest of all. 3 shortages, not 1. Hold on to that, because the entire industry is currently selling you a solution to one of them. Test 1. Does it replace what is actually missing? Your skin barrier is built from 3 lipid classes working together: ceramides, cholesterol, and free fatty acids. All 3. The research on aged skin is fairly blunt about this, and the lipid whose synthesis drops hardest is the one nobody markets, which is cholesterol. Now go and look at what has been sold to you for the last 5 years. Ceramide serums, ceramide creams, ceramide cleansers, which is its own kind of joke since you are washing them off. Ceramides became the hero ingredient because the word tests well, not because ceramides alone solve the problem. A cream that gives you ceramides and nothing else is refilling 1 tank out of 3 and charging you for a full service. So when you turn a moisturizer over, you are scanning for all 3. And specifically, you are scanning for the word cholesterol because it appears on very few mass market ingredient lists. If it is there, somebody in that lab was reading the actual literature. If the only lipid in the formula is a ceramide, the product is not wrong exactly, it is just incomplete, and it is usually priced as though it were complete. That is test 1, and it is the fastest one to run, because you can do it on the back of the box in about 10 seconds. Test 2 is the dose disclosed. Here's something most people genuinely don't know. A brand is allowed to list an active on the ingredient list without ever telling you how much of it is in the bottle, which means a serum containing 0.1% of something and a serum containing 10% of the exact same thing will read identically on the back of the box. Same word, same position sometimes, completely different products. Think about what that does to you as a shopper. Cost per active is the only honest way to compare 2 bottles, and for most of the aisle, it's a calculation you are structurally prevented from performing. You aren't being outsmarted, you're being handed a puzzle with a missing piece and then blamed for guessing. So the test is simple. Can you find the concentration without emailing anyone? If the brand prints it on the front, that's a brand that expects you to do arithmetic and isn't afraid of the result. If the number is nowhere on the packaging, on the website, or in the product name, you can still buy it, but you should stop pretending you're comparing it to anything. You're buying on trust, and trust is fine as long as you know that's what you're doing. If this is already changing how you think about that shelf, hit the like button, because it genuinely helps this reach other women who are done being sold to. And if you're new here, this is the whole channel, so subscribe. Test 3. Does the claim sit on the finished formula or only on the raw ingredient? This is the most common move in the entire industry, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. A brand finds a published study on an ingredient. Real study, real journal, real results usually run at a meaningful concentration. Then the brand puts a trace of that ingredient into a product and cites the study on the packaging. The study tested a concentration the product does not contain in a formula the product does not resemble. And none of that is a lie in any legally actionable sense. It's simply a claim about an ingredient being presented as though it were a claim about a product. There's a second version of this that's subtler, and I'll use my own number 2 brand as the example because I'm not going to apply a standard to other people I won't apply to my own list. That drugstore brand's clinical trial tested a 3-product regimen. A sunscreen lotion, a cream, and a treatment used together. Buying one of those 3 products does not buy you the result in that study. The study is real, it's published, and it still doesn't transfer to a single jar. So the question you're asking is, was this exact thing tested or was something adjacent to it tested? Look for the word formula or product rather than the ingredient name. And if the claim is about the ingredient, go ahead and buy the product if you like it, just don't buy it because of the study. Test 4, does the packaging protect the active or destroy it? This is the one people skip, and it's the one that quietly wastes the most money. Some ingredients are stable and some are not. Lipids are stable, which is why a tub of barrier cream in an open jar is perfectly fine and I've got no complaint about it. But pure vitamin C, specifically L-ascorbic acid, is the opposite. It has to sit at a low pH to work at all, and at that pH it oxidizes the moment it meets air and light. Retinol has the same vulnerability. So does anything else the brand describes as fresh, potent, or unstable, which is usually marketing language wrapped around a genuine chemistry problem. Now picture where that product lives. A clear glass bottle with a dropper you open every morning, or worse, a white jar with a screw top sitting on a shelf in a warm, humid bathroom. Every single use introduces more air. The formula that was excellent on the day it was filled is measurably weaker 8 weeks later, and by the time you finish it, you're applying something closer to expensive water. So the test is this. Match the packaging to the ingredient. Unstable, active in an opaque, airless pump or single-use format is a brand that spent money on something you can't see. Unstable, active in a clear jar is a brand that spent money on something that photographs well. And if a formula turns brown or orange, that isn't a fluke, that's oxidation, and it's telling you exactly what happened. There's one last thing worth knowing, which is that formulas change quietly. Regulations shift, suppliers change, costs move, and a brand will reformulate what's inside the bottle while keeping the packaging, the name, and all the old clinical claims. Europe capped retinol concentrations in 2024, for instance, which forced real reformulation across a lot of products people had been buying for years. When the formula that was tested isn't the formula you can buy, the claim doesn't carry over, and nobody sends you a letter about it. So that's the toolkit. Does it replace all 3 of the things that are actually missing? Is the dose disclosed? Is the claim on the finished formula? Does the packaging protect the active? 4 questions, maybe 30 seconds at the shelf, and they don't expire. Prices change, brands get bought and sold, formulas get quietly rewritten, and these 4 still work. I want to be honest about the limits though. These tests tell you whether a product is likely to do what it says. They don't tell you whether your skin will like it, and they don't replace a dermatologist for anything that's actually a medical problem. What they do is stop you paying luxury money for evidence that was never about you. Full disclosure, same as always, I'm an independent distributor for Forever Living, and there's a link in the description. I didn't run these tests on Forever Living in this video, and it wasn't on the ranking in part 1 either. You should hear that from me rather than work it out yourself. Drop me a comment and tell me which of the 4 caught you out. Was it the ceramide thing where you'd been buying 1/3 of a barrier repair? Was it the dose where you found out you were never allowed to compare? Or was it the packaging and you're now looking at a clear bottle on your counter differently? Because the most expensive thing on that shelf isn't the product that costs the most, it's the one you bought because nobody ever told you what to measure.